All right. Welcome everyone to this week's Helm developer call on Thursday, April the 25th. As a reminder, the call is recorded. So if you don't want to be visible, please turn off your camera. We may turn off your camera. And this call falls under the CNCF, or the Helm project falls under the CNCF code of conduct. So please be polite. To start things off today, we will go to announcements, which we don't have anything on the agenda, but does anybody have anything to announce? The only thing I can think of is I think Helm 315 is scheduled for next month, early next month.
I'm taking a look. It's like not even at top of mind right now. But sec. 315 is scheduled for the 8th.
All right, so we should probably try and I've been very busy, but if maybe we should do. I know. Sorry, this is more discussion. I know Michael Morris wants to get that template speed up PR in, for example. So on that, talking about discussion, we'll move on to Evan's discussion points where.
Oh, sorry, real quick, just to close that one out. Speaking of like the version release announcements, I'm going to go ahead and there was a milestone still open for 3.14.4, and that was I'm going to close that since it was released 2 weeks ago. It's 100% complete.
Righty. Sorry, my dog. It's in the background, which you can probably hear. Give me a second real quick. She's not going to stop. 1 second. Okay, back. So let's look at this PR. So we've got 11273. Open the right one. Enable preserving custom chart YAML using keep metadata flag. So if I understand correctly here, Evans, the problem is that right now the chart.yaml for a starter chart is directly templated from the GoStruct. So if you have comments or other details in or at least I've seen an issue regarding comments in your starter charts YAML file. Of course, the Go YAML parser doesn't pass comments, and
I believe it also affects so for example, you have dependencies and metadata.
Okay, that's not the comments one.
That disappears, yeah. So especially the dependencies, that would be interesting because then that's actual functionality that you probably want to have.
I hadn't even heard of this. I guess I missed. So there's like.
Because we don't have too much stuff on I guess we can quickly discuss the details. There's not much else on the agenda. I mean, I'm just quickly scanning through it. I haven't seen this before. I've just seen related issues.
Yeah, that it hasn't been looked at in a while, so I think it needs to be rebased. I mean, there's a bit of work that needs to be done there to sort of get it up to speed to get reviewed. I guess my question here, or why I brought it up, is to see what's a direction here. Is it something that we want to, if someone wants to put effort in this, would it see the the light of day, or is it more of, it's not going to be looked at, it's a V4 kind of feature? What's the
This
feeling
sounds
here?
like an absolutely like a bug, unless I'm misunderstanding something. I haven't really deeply looked into this yet, but if what just was said is true, that like you're using a starter chart and those really important items from chart.yaml are missing when you do that, then that certainly seems like a bug and not some new feature that needs to be held off on.
Yeah, I mean, I could say you could strictly say it's not a bug because it was implemented like this previously, but the implementation is just not very good. As in, it's missing this important functionality at least. Maybe it's not really fair to say it's not very good, but
Yeah,
I would say this is really missing functionality, not a bug. But to me, like Helm Create is so far off like people's production workflow. I think I heard. Well, maybe who knows. But it wouldn't be. I really can't imagine this being like something which we need even a command line flag and strict backwards compatibility for. Like it's borderline a bug. It's not really in people's production workflow. So I very much doubt the behavioral change is going to affect people. So I mean, personally, I would be happy having the functionality improved here, even if it's maybe not strictly backwards compatible in that super strict sense, but not rambling for me.
yeah, I agree. I mean, Helm Create is a developer helper tool. It's not part of any kind of production workflow at all, or any kind of an automated workflow.
So
It would be
yeah,
interesting to hear that someone's somehow depending on their scaffold missing the important pieces like dependencies when they use Helm Create. I would be
I mean, but there's a
very surprised to hear that.
very quick workaround. They could just remove the stuff they didn't want from the starter pack. If they really wanted that. Like it seems like a strange thing to.
Yeah, like what would a flag even be? Like dash dash for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the proposal is having dash no override. So on to what George was saying. It explicitly says that the documentation, I can't find it. I had it open in a tab somewhere. Oh, there. Hold on. There was not finding it, but anyway,
We'll have to dig in, of course, to the details. This is my opinion is not like some kind of a strict opinion. It's more like that's what it sounds like to me. Would really like to look at the details of it. And you said that there's documentation.
Yes, that explicitly says that. Yes, here it is. I'll just link it in the chat section. Yeah, so it does. There's one bullet there. The first bullet, it says chart.yaml will be overwritten by the generator. So it does feel like it was an intentional implementation detail. So that's and the PR proposes so it's a PR that we came across this problem while trying to create a starter repo chart, and then realized Helm is doing this, and this PR came up. So a colleague of mine, so that's why I'm bringing it up. So the PR is old, so it's just thinking of reviving it, if at all it's something that we would look into.
Yeah, so the chart.yaml will be overwritten by the generator, but it's complete. It does not say anything regarding details around that.
No.
My thought would be, I mean, I guess let's take a look at. I'll take a look at the history of that documentation update and see if there's any discussion around it or anything public around that.
I mean, if it was strict, I would say the chart.yaml would be overwritten to default by the generator. That would be the strict way of saying that. Overwritten could easily refer to that templating issue that I talked about. Not templating, the like right now the chart.yaml has to be processed as a structured thing in Go. If I remember Helm correctly, because it doesn't template chart.yaml. So things like comments get overwritten.
Yep.
That could easily be what the documentation is referring to.
That is what I assumed, but I guess let me take a look at the history.
All right. We can look to conclude then, I guess, since I'm moderating and I have to keep things
Yeah.
keep things tidy. My takeaway here would be we're going to look at the documentation, try and figure out the history, decide if we need a flag. If we do have a flag, then I mean, to me, that adds mess to the code base versus solving an important backwards compatibility issue. But whoever reviews the PR, I guess, can decide. And I think we have. I mean, I don't think anybody's against this PR, so just needs to get. Do you want me to try and stick a milestone on it?
I'm just taking one quick look at the documentation. It looks like yeah. I guess I mean, why don't we just say we'll put it in, or we'll make sure that sorry, we will yeah, this can be part of the milestone, and if we find whatever information we find about the history of this, we'll just make that part of the PR review process. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
The PR, obviously, I'm not sure whether the author is still working on this or is putting time in it, but it might need, it might need rebasing, perhaps, ensuring that it's up to date, it doesn't break other things. Maybe even 3 more contributions if need be, but it's quite straightforward. I quickly looked at the code, not in detail, but it looks quite straightforward. But yeah, cool. That's fine.
All right. Anything else on this one, or
no?
Alrighty. So let's find the notes again. So that's the only thing on discussion. Unless anybody has anything else they want to bring up.
I do.
The only thing I would say is I eventually remembered to add to my personal calendar a Helm 4 planning slot so that I will actually remember to show up. I couldn't make it last week. I'm not sure if anybody else managed to, but
Matt and I
yes.
were on for a very short period of time, and we didn't have anything to do. I was even late, and Matt used that time to just work on other things needed for Helm. So no progress made specifically there.
Yeah. I know. I guess trying to get some structure. But anyway, let's. I can make it tomorrow. I've stuck a slot in the calendar to attend so that I will get my pop up, and then my calendar lifestyle was like, if I don't get my pop up, I don't go. Yeah. I guess bring up. Sorry, was that Evans?
No, I was saying pop-up driven lifestyle.
Yeah. Thanks very much. And I think, okay, so is there anything else? Or this to the. I'm just saying the notes.
So for the Helm for planning, are those open meetings or are they specific they're invite only kind of.
They're open.
Okay. When is it again? If I
Fridays
It's midday Pacific,
midday Pacific. Okay, that might be.
and it can be
somewhere in
changed.
that.
We just picked that time because we had to pick a time.
Yeah, somewhere in the notes. It is I mean, like for accessing it, it's at 3 p.m. Eastern.
3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, and
You're
and
in
as
London, so that'll be 8 p.m. London time.
That would be 8 p.m. That's
and as George said, so far
Friday.
we've said that we can change the time, and we can also adjust these kinds of things based on participation and making it helpful for anyone who wants to be more involved in it. Yeah, it's not set in stone, or not that even this meeting is set in stone, but it doesn't have such a long precedence and such a widespread communication around it that it's very, very easy to change the time, daytime, do more than one, really whatever works for the people who have the energy to work on it.
I'd be keen. 8 o'clock is pushing it a bit because especially because it's Friday. But I do not want to have time changed because of just me. So but an earlier slot, for earlier slots I could attend. One thing you could do is stagger that, so ensure that have some early morning, well, not early morning your time, and or morning hours like right now at times, and at times evening. Not sure whether that works as well.
So the people that are have been going to it primarily have been so far, if I remember right, or let me take a look. George, Matt Farina, me, and Andy Block. And that hasn't been even that regularly attended lately, but I know Matt's been making time for it, and George has been, and I have been, and I think Andy intends to. So I'm definitely open to meeting early morning.
Yeah, I just any slot during the week works for me effectively.
Yeah, can we discuss it?
As long as it's not like 9 a.m. New York time, because that's
because Matt Farina and neither Matt Farina or Andy are here. Could we follow up with this on the, just the Helm Slack channel?
How about we can do that, or tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow because it'll be good to meet. We can discuss with whoever comes tomorrow at a different time. I think Andy set this one up. Would that work?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I don't think I'm not ready to actually join at 8 a.m. my time tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Just because I plan to go out tonight. I'm going out dancing till 4 in the morning. So, but in future, if I know that we have that, I can make it. I can just not make plans to do that.
What time is it where you are, Scott?
Right now, about 1 p.m. I'm in New York.
Are you in New York? Okay, so
yeah.
So there's no one who's in West Coast, right? Because then
that have been doing this.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. I don't mind early, on West Coast.
I can meet at wildly inconvenient times for East Coast. Is all I'm trying to say, as long as I plan in advance. Because I do kind of weird hours at times, so I don't mind. For myself, once it gets more, if it does get bigger, then we can think about should we have an early and a late meeting. We've actually even talked about this for the Helm meetings, and so far we haven't really had enough people who join them regularly who have said that yes, we really do want to follow through with an early and a late meeting. So I think it's probably because Helm development is moving relatively slow because of its stability. Whereas some other projects that are moving a lot faster, maybe earlier in the project development life cycle, they have multiple time zone meetings, and we haven't even gotten there.
Yeah, I reckon V4 might bring a bit more.
It might. Yeah.
Yeah, my 2 cents on the the current status of V4 is more like planning how to plan the it's planning how to plan almost, let alone features. And I would say once getting to coding is, then yeah, like more meetings between the relevant people would be definitely more appropriate. It's just I'd say at the moment we're not quite there, but that's just my 2 cents.
You know what? I think no need to change the time. I'll try and make the evening ones. Because then that has what, like you said, it's more planning. But that's also interesting in itself. But let's not change things around yet, if at all. There's no need. And most of you and most of the folks who are doing that are in the US, right? Yeah. So yeah, let's let the majority. I'll conform to the majority. So that's all right.
Right. Well, thank you. Yeah, but we like I said, I think it's easy enough to propose a new meeting tomorrow during the meeting for people that come. A new time rather, and then take it from there.
Cool.
Looking at the time, talking about time, we should move on to shout outs. I'm skipping hip review. Social media amplification, and then assignments. I'll do triage. And I'll set my name down for code review, but I'm very much struggling time-wise at the moment.
Boy. Yeah, sorry, I'm still like okay, so we're on assignments now.
Yep.
Sorry, I was literally like trying to hunt down the history of that initial comment, and this goes way back through. I'm like doing like the git pickaxe search functionality over like multiple repos within Helm, because it's moved actually, as it's been there since the documentation moved and since the last internationalization big move. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging. Anyway, you can assign that to me if we have assignments. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find this thing, and I'll let you know, Evans.
Awesome.
And you
Thank
can put me down for, yeah, no problem. You can put me down for you can put me down for moderator next time.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah. Also, thanks,
anything
Karen.
else
I
in the
do
last-
have a shout out. Thanks, Karen, for taking notes. Even though I put my name on it, I was busy looking for this thing and I didn't actually take notes. Thanks for doing that. Oh, I do have one other quick thing. I know we're gonna end, but we can let's follow up next time. Maybe I'll put a note on the agenda, but just updates on the Octopus team. The group of developers that we said that are going to be helping with PR triage.
Oh, nice.
There's not enough time to update on that now because it's 12. We've got like a minute and a half, but I just wanted to at least note it, and we can add it as an agenda item to update where we're at with that, and how, especially for you, George, and other folks who are doing a lot of PR triage, we'll be getting a lot of help very soon.
Awesome. Nice. Good to hear.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Any final things in the final minutes? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you either tomorrow or next week. Thank you. Bye.